Hello friends, I've always had a curious interest in Octagon houses. You know, those 8-sided, odd-looking homes you see every once in a while when you're traveling. So I decided to do a video about some of the ones that are located in my neck of the woods. We're going to show you some well-preserved Octagon homes in Macomb, Oakland, Lapeer, and Tuscola counties. And I hope you enjoy this little tour. Our first stop is in Macomb County's Washington Township, probably the most famous Octagon house in the state. This is referred to as the Lauren Andrus home, built in 1859-1860. Mr. Andrus was a farmer working a 380-acre peach orchard here on this site. He was also the chief surveyor of the Utica-Kalamazoo Canal project, which stopped partway through due to financial downturns and other problems. But this was his home he built, and it is a glorious Octagon house, just beautiful. It was restored in the 1970s, saved from demolition in 1964 by a group of local community activists who raised money and purchased it and then renovated it. And as I say, it's located on Van Dyke, which is a major north-south thoroughfare through East Michigan. So I would say this is probably easily the most widely recognized Octagon house in the state. Just a few miles to the west, in a little community known as Mount Vernon, Michigan, we have another Octagon house. This one built in 1843 by William Burt. And he built several homes as weekend getaways, cottages, homes for his children. He was a fairly well-to-do person, as are most of the people who build Octagon houses, because they tend to be large and somewhat ornate. But here is the Burt Octagon house. And this one's unique because it has a full wraparound deck on the second floor, which I really, really like. This home had fallen into quite a bit of disrepair at one time from what I've read, and is making a nice comeback now. If we look, we can see there's a good view of it right there. Definitely a really nice, interesting style to this one. And nice to see this being cared for and kept in good shape now. Let's have one more close-up here, look at it. If you've ever wondered what the inside floor plan of one of these might look at, check out this image. This is an image from a different house that has uneven wall layout, 4 long and 4 short walls. You can see how it might be laid out inside, a very traditional Octagon style. In fact, our next stop is about 15 miles north on Van Dyke. The little town of Almont, Michigan, features one of these uneven wall length style houses. And this one is really nice too. This one is the Courier House, built in 1854. And it's really nice. And a little interesting story, a very nice story about this one is, it was sold over the years and changed hands several times, but in 1985, 131 years after it was built, a direct descendant of the original builder repurchased the house and restored it to its current state. This is one of the ones that has the uneven length of walls on it, and it looks more like a traditional home and less like an Octagon, but it truly is, because instead of having corners, it has 6-foot long angled walls at each corner. So you have 4 6-foot walls and 4 20.5-foot walls in this home. A unique style, but fairly common among Octagon homes. A little design feature on top that looks like it has windows, skylights of some sort, and a wraparound porch all around the main level. This is certainly a fine example and a beautifully restored home on East St. Clair Street in Almont. Now we're going to travel about 15 miles west of Almont to Oxford, Michigan, to the Fink House. And this is a very well-known Octagon house in North Oakland County, and in fact one of the only Octagon houses surviving in Oakland County, I believe. This one was built in 1850 by Harry Fink, and it actually remained owned by one family for 80 years at one point, but it's had quite a few different owners. I believe they said 7 or 8 different owners now. But it is certainly a beautifully well-maintained and restored home. I love the little, I guess we call it a porte-cochere on the side of it, like a little coach porch, and a second floor deck on above the little porch, along with a top-mounted cupola, I guess we call it, or some sort of structure on top that usually marks the top of the center stairway. Most Octagon homes have center stairways that go up through the middle, and all the rooms radiate out from there. This one is easy to find, just off M24, not far from Oxford High School. And lastly on our tour, we have the Randall home in Mayville, Michigan, in Tuscola County. And the Randall home is another well-preserved, well-maintained example of Octagon houses that is actually really special because it's been in the same family since 1870 when it was built. It's the newest of all of the Octagon houses on our little tour, but it's really cool to know that it's been in the same family since it was built. At one point in time, it had a matching barn off to the side, which I've been in this house. It's really cool inside. It's got the center staircase that goes up. Now, depending how they're laid out, Octagon houses can be really beautiful inside and very ornate. And they can also lead to some odd-shaped rooms as well, because of the various angles and how people lay them out. I've seen some that have very strange little angled spaces. For the most part, these were expensive homes built by well-to-do people with beautiful natural woodwork and deluxe features for their time, and lavishly decorated and appointed too. Look at this one. I want to also mention some other Octagon houses that used to be in the area but are gone now. In Rochester, Michigan, there was the Wilcox House, built in 1840 and torn down in 1939, which was about the area where the Great Oaks golf course is now. And in Pontiac, Michigan, we had the Dunlop House, which existed from 1850 to 1929. It was torn down with the commercialization of the downtown Pontiac area. And in Lake Orion, which is rumored to have had 3 Octagon houses at one time, the one we found out for sure existed was at this location on M24, right next to the rental cabins and bordering on the lake. There's also a rumor that there are 2 other Octagon houses in Lake Orion, both of them on Pleasant Ridge Street, and both of them long gone. And I've been unable to find out for sure if that's true.